welcome to another week in Reddit League here on YouTube. My name is Atomo, and I'm joined as always by my co-caster, Calamity. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to another great Division 2 matchup here between IceTharu and Chicago Geographer. They are neck and neck at the top of the table, Calamity.
Yeah, their stats are almost identical. Average points split apart by 47, I think, there. Best game only 7 points apart. Ace is the exact same amount of points, same record. They couldn't be more similar. Well, they could
Yeah.
slightly, but it would be very hard to get that.
Yeah, I think the only thing separating Chicago in second place there is his score differential, which is slightly better than IceTharu's. So, yeah, both of them have had a pretty good season so far. Chicago looking like he's ready to go back up into Division 1 again after being relegated last season. And Ice was promoted. Oh, I
He
should
was
have looked this
promoted
up
in
ahead of
season
time.
1. He was 5th
Okay,
last season.
yeah. So middle of the pack and outdoing himself this season here. So looking for his chance to maybe move up into Division 1 here. This week we are in California. The map is by Super Cabas, average score of 16,468 points, over 150,000 locations, and has been played just over 1,000 times. A fairly new map, Calamity, but the state pretty much speaks for itself. Quite diverse, well labeled. Do you have any favorite here in this one?
You kind of have to favor Chicago just based on him, having sort of a home map here. He obviously is from pretty far away in the United States, but compared to Ice being from Europe, it's still quite a well, it's not that big of an advantage, but it's a slight advantage. And Chicago's also known for being quite, well, very good in the US in general in Geoguessr. So you'd assume that despite not being from around there, he'd still have more than enough experience in recognizing maybe slightly different parts of the state and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think he's played several long running series where he just does every single state in every corner of the United States. He definitely has his license plate meta down, where you can try to figure out what state you're in just by the blurred out colors, which for me, I still can't quite wrap my head around. But won't really come into play this week because we've already got the state for us. But he definitely has put in a lot of practice on this one. So yeah, slight favorite going this one, but at anybody's game, and as we always say week to week, it's going to depend on the seed. So let's jump into round number 1 then and see what this seed has for us and how these two can do in round number 1. So, and a pretty dry rural location.
Mm-hmm. You might.
Just the kind of start that maybe Ice would be hoping for. These.
Yeah, they're both going the same way as well. There's actually a very helpful sign that both of them have just gone past, completely ignored it. I don't blame them. It's not the biggest sign, but we'll probably see that in a later matchup then. Either that or one of them will eventually go back and look at it. What you might also notice is that Ice's video is a bit pixelated. That's not on our part. His recording just came out like that. So we'll just guess what he's looking at most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we do have some things written down just to make sure we can read his scores and whatnot, so that shouldn't hamper us too much. Ice and Chicago now definitely parting ways after they hit that intersection, and it looks like Chicago's getting the better end of it. He's got a road number, but Ice has also got the fact that we're near San Diego.
Yep.
So he's not going to be too far off either.
Oh, Chicago made use of that road number very quickly. It's interesting.
Back to the start.
Like the 67 doesn't ring any bells for me as a state highway, but maybe he saw something else as well, or he's just seen it in practice a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, practicing definitely can help learn some of those smaller highways. He goes back to the intersection looking for those street names, and he's got it. Now it's just a matter of working back with about a minute and a half to go. Now Ice coming up on that highway intersection. Got a truck blocking him, but he should be able to get that number here in a second. There we go. So he's a little bit behind, but he's already got the general area. Just see if he can find those numbers. And it does appear like he's got it. So again, in the last minute, they're going to be looking to get that 5K for the both of them.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot separating them here, but...
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually mentioned this before. I think I said it in the show, but I don't know if I said it in any of the match casts because I don't think it was applicant really so far. But looking for state highways can be deceivingly hard because especially when you are near one of the bigger cities like San Diego, like Los Angeles, San Jose, San Francisco, etc. Some of those, while Chicago almost gets a perfect score there, some of those...
Oh, just off by a point, 4,999. Let's see if Ice can do any better with 30 seconds left, but I'll continue, Calamity.
Some of those state highways can be very short and will just be sort of going around the city limits just to connect maybe one other highway to another one. So unless you zoom in on the city itself and look for it specifically there, you're just not going to see it.
Yeah, just given how big some of the roads have to be for the population, they're given highway designations even if they're not very long, and then they don't travel the whole the state. So Ice will, in fact, be able to get that ace. So he will go into round number 2, Calamity, with that 1 point advantage on Chicago. Hey, every point counts.
Yeah, the 1 point advantage, probably less of a real advantage here than the still present opportunity of getting a 25K and a perfect score there.
Yeah, definitely. If you could pick up an extra bonus point, that would make it even all the sweeter with a victory. As we get into round number 2, and a rare snow location.
Yeah, forget about that perfect score.
Yeah, this could be tricky. You thought the last one was rural, this one...
Yep. Hit the same dead end immediately.
Yeah. Which is nice. You always like to hit the dead end early on. That way at least you know you can avoid it.
Yeah, Chicago here is looking at a little sign, a kilometer marker. Something I didn't know, but I think it was Redirect who mentioned on Reddit that these road markers have an abbreviation of the county on them. In this case, MOD for Modoc County. You'd still have to know where they are, of course, but it can give you an advantage there. And it also has the state highway in this case. Actually, it's not a state highway, sorry, it's a county road, 64. So you're unlikely to find the county road unless you know the county. And as it looks like Chicago doesn't know the county, because otherwise you wouldn't be searching all of California for it.
Yeah, it looks like he thought he might have a bit of an idea where it could be, but it didn't turn out that way. So he's can just jump on the road here and continue traveling. They're both heading in slightly different directions, I believe.
They are. Ice heading west, Chicago.
And Chicago will hit that change in coverage. He's not really sure if it's a good thing or not. He will head back and start again. So a bit of a rough location just trying to navigate these streets, avoiding bad coverage and dead ends. So that'll kill a lot of time, not really waste.
Yeah, and in a rural location like this, that can be time that you would have just needed to get to good information. As someone who's obviously played the seed myself, because it's my division, I'm not sure if either of them has enough time to get to where they need to get in the 1.5 minutes they've got left. Chicago spent quite a lot of time at the start going the wrong direction, and Ice, I sort of can't tell from his video if he's going slowly or it just looks that way because it's so pixelated.
Yeah, he's moving at a pretty good speed, but Chicago's internet is definitely outpacing him. He has found a national forest sign, which is great.
There's also like Modoc,
National Forest. So he will actually find that forest on the map much easier than the county. To spot. So now he's going to try to figure out which one of these roads he's on.
And ice.
And Ice will get to
Yep.
that similar sign. There's that National Forest Road, and he is looking in quite the wrong area. Oh, did he find it?
No, the problem
I
for
can't
him.
really tell.
Problem for him is, I think. Yeah, this is the sign that he should be looking at. I don't know if you can see it fine on his screen. Directions to Susanville, and I think it's Alturas or something like that. Can't read it there. I just know what it says. And it does not look like he knows where the places are, unfortunately for him, as
No.
time will run out.
He's checking some places. He's close
Actually,
though.
he was closer than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, it was really hard to tell because his map was very blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't tell where he was looking at. Yeah, unfortunately for Chicago, he found the national forest, but we were on the southern part of the forest, not the northern, which where he had his pin. So that'll cost him 4,583 points for Ice, 2,623 for Chicago. That 1 point gap, Calamity, growing to over 2,000 now.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate for Chicago. As always, they're going the wrong way at the start, and then just choosing the wrong end of the forest.
Yeah, not much you can do with that one. You don't have a whole lot of clues, and you just know I'm in this corner. Oh, good luck. Maybe Ice got a bit lucky, but
yeah, the only thing Chicago could have done is look for the county road once he knew that he is in this county. But Model County isn't exactly small, so it would have been touch and go if he had enough time to find it.
Yeah, and Ice definitely had the advantage also with a few, even though there were small towns, town names nonetheless, to try to be able to use to get a little bit better of a score in that round. Well, jumping into round number 3 here, and we get our first suburban location, Calamity.
Yep. This one less of an issue of going the right direction, not well, as long as you make it out of the suburb in the first place. But afterwards it's more about well, either direction will give you enough clues. You just need to know what to do with them, as Chicago already finds a sign telling him he's in Saratoga.
Well, schools near the spawn location gives them that information. And it looks like Ice has also got a clue. At least he thinks he's around San Francisco.
Yeah, with way zooming, I think he's probably seen an area code.
Yeah, it does appear that he managed to get the city correct. Yeah, we always complain about how these suburbs can be hell, but they can contain little nuggets of really interesting information. Things like area codes, trash cans with city names on them. If you can read them, they're not easy to read all the time, but you can. Yeah, so those little things are definitely things to pay attention to, not to overlook.
Yeah, definitely more so the trash cans than the area codes, because you're much more likely to find area codes once you've made it out of the suburb. But I think you're actually right in that you're more likely to find trash cans in the suburbs rather than outside of them.
Yeah.
So that might be something if you've really got nothing else, and as Chicago, you're just stuck in there at the moment. That's something you can look out for at least.
Well, there are some area codes in the sense you can sometimes have real estate signs for selling houses and things like that.
I just
so
feel
you
like
can find the odd phone number.
Yeah, most of the real estate signs as well just have 1-800 as the number. From what I remember in California, at least.
Yeah, it always depends on how big they are. I know in my seed, I did find an area code on a real estate number that wasn't 1-800, so that did help me get the area east of San Diego. So it is possible.
Yeah, they sometimes do have them.
And they're both really struggling to get out of this. Neither of them really having much luck, often going back over their tracks again.
We've seen the parts where they're at now a couple of times.
I think so, yeah. So don't worry, you're not missing much. Another possible bit of information, a porta potty. Never thought about that. There you go. City of Saratoga. There we go. Even more confirmation, as well as a park and crossed railroad tracks, which is really good. Those are often useful to pinpoint.
Yeah, I find it
But
interesting
now,
that Chicago only zoomed in on that place now because he's known he's in Saratoga since like 10 seconds after the start um of the round. But
and
yeah.
yeah, and there's a school. So now he's got to figure out the exact spot. Looks like with only about 10 seconds left, he will hone in on that.
Yeah.
Ice seems to know the city, but has no idea where it is, as Chicago will, in fact, get the ace. He knows, I think, like you said, with that area code, he's near San Francisco, but he does not know where the city is.
Mm,
And it's down there, which will cost him dearly, giving up pretty much his entire lead here against Chicago. Only 2,692 points for him. Chicago, though, getting that ace. And it's all back to almost square again.
yeah, I think with Chicago, it might have been the case that he wasn't really sure where Saratoga was, so that's why he didn't really go off of that information at the start. But at the point where he saw it again, it was just so late in the round that he knew he wasn't gonna find much more anyway. So he just thought, okay, it looks like it might be somewhere like in near San Jose, and he just zoomed in and then saw Saratoga pretty quickly.
Yeah. A bit fortunate there. So one round, not that great for both of them. As we get into round number 4 here, and we'll see how things go. Yeah, they are pretty close. Actually, Chicago now with about a 400, less than 400 point lead.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely doable for Ice again, especially if Chicago has a bad round. And we get another suburban location. So
Yeah.
half and half so far. 2 rural, 2 suburban.
I think it might have actually said something important there on the bin. I just couldn't read it.
Yeah. These two are both very, very fast, so we don't have a lot of time to read anything on any sign. But Chicago seems confident in being somewhere in Los Angeles. And this sign should be good for him if he actually looks at it. Again, he's very quick.
Yeah, I just
American
saw.
Jewish University.
Yeah, I saw an error code, the 310, which is generally west of Los Angeles.
Yeah, so he's got some good information, Chicago. Needs to figure out where exactly this could be. There we go. There's the 405.
Hmm.
That'll be very helpful. Ice is right on his tail, literally, following him down the hill.
Yeah.
And I believe that is a city symbol on that sign. It's just going to be way too small to be able to read it.
Yeah.
But maybe on their larger screens it made a little bit more sense, but highly unlikely.
I doubt it. Yeah. What I find interesting is that they're both now on a bridge over a highway, and neither of them have made any attempt to get onto the other highway to find out which one that is. But Chicago's found the right location anyway. And okay, Ice is now going to go onto that highway.
Yeah, I think Chicago knew that there's that university close by. All he had to do was just scan the road looking for the school to show up, and that's what he used. Ice doing what you recommend, getting on, looking at the exits and distances, and we'll use that.
Said there importantly on the sign that the freeway 101 is very close by. So if you just look for that intersection, you should be, well, pretty good. Will he do that? Yes, he will. There we go.
Chicago very confident and guesses very early getting an ace, so certainly no reason to doubt himself there. And he'll go down. I don't know if he actually saw anything about the university.
I think he might have done, but the more interesting part for him would have been.
There we go, Getty Center.
The more interesting part for him would have been that the 101 is about, I think it was 2.25 miles away. So what he should be doing is look for the side streets. I don't know if he remembers them. It was Mulholland Drive was the big street alongside the 405, which he should be looking for, which it doesn't look like he's currently doing. Don't know what is that. Oh, that's Mulholland Drive in a different place.
Oh, that's not going to be good.
That's
a very long road, apparently, and he's
a mistake.
found it Yeah, see, that is one of the things that just always gets you when you play GeoGuessr. When a road with the same name is in two different locations and you find it
Mm,
in the wrong spot, that's always a real killer. And he'll be kicking himself about that with only 4,539 points in that round
yeah,
to Chicago's ace. So just a rough break there for Ice Calamity.
yeah. I wouldn't I wouldn't put that down to bad luck though. He had the knowledge. He knew that he's on the 405. So it didn't make much sense, even with finding Mulholland Drive in a different place, to go away from that.
Mm.
And there are quite a few streets in LA specifically that just take breaks somewhere and continue somewhere else. He might have not known that, but there are a lot like that in LA. And yeah, he should have gone with the other information he had there.
Yeah, it can be a bit difficult to keep all the information in your head at once. And it seemed like once he saw Mulholland Drive, he kind of forgot about the other things he had
Yeah.
seen, like the Getty Center nearby, the university, and whatnot, and just clicked on the road. And then unfortunately didn't have any time to undo that. So he'll lose another couple hundred points to Chicago here, which means he's got quite the gap to make up. Just under 1,000 points now, and within 5 seconds, Chicago is zooming in on Sacramento.
Hmm.
That famous H Street that you mentioned in another last video.
Yeah, the thing is,
That
I actually looked that up afterwards. Well, I actually saw Sacramento mentioned on a thing, and you can see the same thing on Chicago screen. They're like on the leftmost side, below Yoga House, it says Sacramento. But there's actually quite a lot of cities in California that have letter streets. So you can't just go, okay, there's H Street, it's got to be in Sacramento. There's plenty of other cities that have that. But he might have just recognized, well, both of them get an ace. He might have just
yeah,
recognized the suburb or something, or it's not really a suburb, is it? Just the general
the city.
houses
Um,
look of it.
yeah, after I saw it in one of our videos, I did take a little bit of a close look at Sacramento. It wasn't in my seed. But as I was going through the city, I was like, wait a minute, this city is very unique, very different from the rest of California. Like especially like San Francisco, San Diego, or LA. And so maybe just the architecture, those older buildings,
Yeah,
just give you that look of, hey, this is probably the city. Sure enough, there's a letter road. Let's give it a shot. And Ice actually a little bit. That's you.
yeah,
No,
ice is
Ice.
straight on the
Ice is
point.
exactly on it.
Yeah.
He is 0 meters away. A little bit more accurate, but doesn't make any difference. An ace for both, which means Chicago will take the win here. Ice unable to come back from a second mistake in this game, but Calamity at this top level, you might get one mistake, but you definitely don't get
Mm,
two.
yeah, generally, like one mistake most of the time is too many mistakes, and two mistakes is definitely something where you can't expect a win from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he probably knows it going into that round, anyways. Yeah, but congrats, Chicago, on that lead. That'll help his chances of being promoted again and send Ice looking for the next win to keep up in the title race himself. Well, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that subscribe button and so you don't miss anything. And if you're playing in the Reddit League, please consider recording, making a video, and sending it to us so we can cast your video next time. And we'll see you then. Take care.
Bye.